this tutorial, let's see how we can make Blender's force fields interact with the RBDLab simulation. So let's take an example of a simple soda can, and this soda can is scaled up so that it works well with the Blender's physics system. Now in RBDLab, under Fracture module, Prepare tab, let's go to Proxy and let's add a remesh. Looks good. And add Solidify. And let's give it a thickness of 0.02 and click Accept. Instead of working with complex geometries in a rigid body simulation, it would be more efficient to work with a simpler geometry, and remesh is a great option for this. Moreover, as soda can has some thickness to the surface, we are using Solidify modifier to give that surface thickness. And that's the reason we are generating a proxy geometry with these two modifiers. And let's add scatter, add standard scatter. And let's increase the density to 100. Accept. Fracture. Let's click on Auto Smooth and let's check for all the fractures. Looks good. I don't see any bad chunks. Apply fracture now. And let's head to the physics module and let's add a ground and toggle the visibility. Under RBD tab, let's click on MetalSoft and add rigid bodies. And let's head to constraints and let's work with the soft constraints. Let's uncheck breakable and let's check on iterations for stronger constraints and between chunks and create constraint group. Let's deselect the spring angle and let's increase the spring linear from 10 to something higher like 2500 and let's update. Let's hit play. Fairly stable. Now to this, let's check on the scene collection and press Shift A and add force field. Let's add a force and let's head to the physics tab and let's increase the strength to something like 2500 and then use a negative force for the simulation. Now let's play. There we go. Looks good so far. Now let's head to the MetalSoft module and let's check for the other original, which is going to be our original geometry, which is this one. So let's move the original soda can geometry to the RBDLab originals right here. Now here, let's select the original geometry and create mesh deform so that the original geometry binds to these fractured chunks. Now let's take a look at the geometry. Looks good. Let's add modifier. Now let's add a subsurf modifier so that we can add more geometry. And let's take a look at the simulation. Now let's say we would like to have the force field affect the simulation at a particular frame, and then after this frame, it should stop affecting the simulation. So what we can do is at frame 5, we can insert a keyframe for the strength, and at frame 6, we're going to give it a strength of 0 and insert a keyframe. There we go. Looks good. And let's say we would like the simulation to stop at frame 40. Now we can head to the physics tab, and usually we work in the settings tab, but there is also another tab for animation. Let's click on animation, and here we can click on add, and then let's say at frame 40 we want the simulation to stop, and let's click on OK. And let's take a look. And there we go. At frame 40, the simulation stops. So this is how we can work with the force fields and have them interact with the rigid body simulations in the RBDLab add-on. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you and stay tuned for more tutorials.